Hello, I'm Alyson Grange coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show for you, Resurgent Africa. Amid the coups and the crises, there are many positive stories from Africa that often get overlooked, but not on this show. Today we take you to countries around Africa to tell you stories of hope, positivity and innovation, and give you a glimpse into the lives of the people who call this vibrant continent home.
This rainy season was tough for Kenya. Heavy rains resulted in flooding in various parts. It destroyed crops and also resulted in deaths and displacements. But damage was prevented in some parts. All thanks to these barriers called Slamdams. It's a technology borrowed from the Netherlands that has helped avoid massive destruction. The technology had yielded positive results earlier in Nigeria and Burundi, and it's now proving itself in Kenya. Take, for example, the river Ngare Narok in southwest Kenya. In May this year, the river overflowed its banks during the heavy rains. But those living near the river prevented the waters from reaching their homes by using the Slamdam technology. So, what are Slamdams and how do they work? These are barriers made from heat-resistant rubber. They measure around 5 meters in length, 1.5 in width, and stand 1 meter tall. When placed closely together, they form a tight-knit barrier and prevent any gaps where floodwaters could potentially leak through. Slamdams have a lifespan of up to 40 years.
During the normal rains, the water level comes to this level where I'm standing. But in extreme events, when we are having floods, the water level will rise beyond this up to about 1 meter. And when it happens, it tends to spill over towards community and villages and farms. So the Slamdams have been placed to raise the water, to raise the river bank by 1.5 meters.
The Slamdam technology has a second use as well. They can be used to store water. One Slamdam has a water capacity of around 8,000 litres. So once the rainy season is over, they can be used as a water source for crops and other use.
When it is time to store the Slamdams, instead of discarding the water, Frederick Njuguna pumps it to water his crops. The crops grow, thrive, and provide food. When he exhausts water from one Slamdam, we store it and move on to the next Slamdam.
The barriers have been provided to people in Kenya by SNV, a Dutch development organization that works to help improve food, energy, and water systems in Africa and Asia. SNV has donated 100 Slamdams to flood-prone areas in Kenya's Laikipia County. Importing a single Slamdam to Kenya costs approximately 250,000 Kenya shillings or $1,947.
I got this donation from the Netherlands Development Organization after heavy rains flooded my house and destroyed my property. After I got the Slamdams, I am now safe and my home no longer floods.
After getting access to the technology, people have strategically placed Slamdams to direct water away from their homes. These devices have not only helped protect properties, but also saved lives given the high number of deaths and displacements caused by flooding in Kenya.
If I did not have these Slamdams, the loss would have been severe. I was considering the value of my property, myself and my children, and I would have suffered a loss of nothing short of $310,000 to $390,000. Because if you consider the investments I have made on this land, you can come in and have a look. I would have lost a huge amount of money.
Slamdams represent concrete examples of how technology can be used in innovative ways to solve real-life problems. It's essential that such solutions continue to be implemented and help in mitigating the impact of climate hazards. In the quiet village of Malombe in southern Senegal, Isabelle Sambou, a wrestling legend, returns to her roots. At 43, she's a two-time Olympian and 9-time African wrestling champion. Her journey took her from the rural corners of Senegal to the grand stages of the Olympics in London and Rio. And now, she's back home not to rest, but to pass on her legacy. Sambou's story is one of resilience and determination. In a country where wrestling is revered but often male-dominated, she broke barriers. Sambou became a trailblazer. And even though she faced ridicule, she never wavered.
When you do women's wrestling, you will have a lot of people who make fun of you. I lived through that when I went to Resurgent to wrestle. When I wore my shorts, there were people who made fun of me. There were others who said, "Is this a woman or a boy?"
Now Sambou dedicates her life to coaching the next generation of female wrestlers in her village. She didn't bring home an Olympic medal, but that hasn't dampened her spirit. Instead, it fuels her desire to see one of her trainees achieve what she could not. She dreams of discovering the future Isabelles, those who will rise and perhaps surpass her legacy.
After I stopped wrestling professionally, until now I don't have work. I'm also not married yet. Well, that's how it is. It's just that when I stopped, I came back here to my village. I told myself that I need to find my roots again, in order to find the future Isabelles, the future champions, those who will do maybe more than Isabelle. Because it was my dream to bring a medal to Senegal.
On the sandy grounds of Malombe, Sambou trains young girls, instilling in them the same grit that carried her through her own journey. Among them is 18-year-old Mame Marie Sambou, who, inspired by Isabelle, decided to take up wrestling despite societal pressures.
She was a wrestler, and I saw her and said, well, I'm going to be like her. When I started to wrestle, people said that they've never seen a girl wrestle. But I never listened to them, because if I did, I would never have found myself here where I am.
Sambou wants to use her fame to encourage young girls in Senegal to follow her trailblazing path and reach their potential. Some even hope increasing female participation in a sport so ingrained in Senegalese culture could help address larger issues of gender equality, including access to education, economic opportunities, and child marriage. Hence, her life is a testament to the power of perseverance and the importance of staying true to one's roots. Through her, a new generation of champions is rising, fiercely protecting their village traditions while daring to dream big. In a place where the past meets the future, Sambou's legacy lives on, stronger than ever. In the Mediterranean Sea, a vital ecosystem is battling for survival. The endangered Posidonia oceanica, often called the lungs of the Mediterranean, is under severe threat from climate change. Rising sea temperatures and coastal human activities are adding to a list of unprecedented challenges it faces. But a local team of scientists and engineers from Tunisia is on a mission to protect it.
Posidonia is known primarily for being the lungs of the Mediterranean Sea because it is a major source of oxygen and absorbs carbon dioxide, meaning it attracts a lot of carbon, which is a problem we currently face. It also serves as a food source for marine organisms, where fish spawn and seek refuge from predators. It's a crucial habitat for various animals and organisms.
This unique seagrass, often mistaken as waste, is native to the Mediterranean, and it plays a vital role in maintaining marine health and combating climate change.
It's important to note that Posidonia oceanica is a species specific to the Mediterranean Sea, making it a unique feature of our sea. In Tunisia, we have more than 50% of the Posidonia found in the entire Mediterranean. Many people do not realize that Posidonia is not waste, because it plays a role both when alive and when dead. Like any sea plant, in autumn its leaves fall, and when they wash ashore, they become substrates. People sometimes mistakenly refer to this as waste, but these leaves have a specific role in protecting the sea from erosion.
Posidonia is a major source of oxygen. It is also a source of food for marine organisms where fish spawn and seek refuge from predators. But its importance extends far beyond the local marine ecosystem. Scientists say it absorbs carbon dioxide 3 times more effectively than tropical forests. Posidonia in the Monastir Bay and Kuriat Islands can store over 350 tons of carbon per hectare.
Posidonia provides invaluable environmental services, particularly in climate regulation. It has a significant ability to store carbon, especially organic carbon, which surpasses even the Amazon rainforest's carbon storage capacity. According to the latest study by Notre Grand Bleu on Posidonia plant in the Monastir Bay and the Kuriat Islands, it has a storage capacity exceeding 350 tons per hectare.
عندها قدرة تخزين تتجاوز 350 طرناطة في الهكتار الواحد.
In Tunisia, an environmental science and education group, the Notre Grand Bleu Association, is striving to protect and restore this vital marine plant. They are working to preserve it through passive restoration by monitoring its developments and active restoration by cultivation.
Today, we monitored a site where Posidonia was cultivated as part of the MERM project. Due to the risks threatening it, we also set up markers for the maximum extent of Posidonia close to the shore. Additionally, we collected blue carbon samples to assess the capacity of Posidonia to store organic carbon. To preserve this system, which is of great importance, we must focus on both passive restoration through sustainable monitoring of Posidonia's issues and active restoration through cultivating Posidonia. This effort should be supported by a team of scientists and experts in the field, similar to the project carried out by the association Azrakna Al-Kabir with its partners under the MERM project.
بمجموعة علمية وخبراء مختصين في هذا المجال.
The Notre Grand Bleu Association and its partners have planted 1,000 square meters of Posidonia underwater for scientific experimentation. They are closely monitoring its progress.
One of the risks facing Posidonia is climate change or global warming, which means the seawater is heating up. Like any species, Posidonia has ideal conditions for growth. If it encounters temperatures within its optimal range, it grows well and performs its functions effectively. However, due to global warming, the water is warming beyond these conditions, causing problems for Posidonia. This could potentially lead to its extinction.
Unlike many Western countries, Tunisia does not have specific laws to protect these underwater ecosystems. So, conservation efforts like these are extremely crucial, especially as climate change continues to threaten the lungs of the Mediterranean. Women have journeyed far in today's world. They have been carving out spaces and staking claims in every imaginable field. But despite their remarkable achievements, certain professions still conjure the image of a man in the minds of many. Roles like electricians, plumbers, and mechanics remain stereotypically male-dominated, where the thought of a woman in such a job is for some still unimaginable. Yet Asawar Mustafa, a 22-year-old Sudanese refugee living in Libya, is courageously defying these outdated notions. With a wrench in her hand and a cap perched over her hijab, she's challenging gender norms in the conservative and traditional Libyan city of Misrata. In a place where being a mechanic is often seen as a man's job, Mustafa is breaking barriers as she inspects oil filters and interacts with the garage's female clientele. Her story is one of quiet but resolute determination. Mustafa's journey wasn't always paved with dreams of engines and wrenches. In Sudan, she was on the path to become a pharmacist, living a peaceful life and pursuing her degree. But the eruption of war in April 2023 between the Sudanese army under Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and the paramilitary rapid support forces changed everything. Fleeing her home country in search of safety, she recalls those days as the darkest of her life. When Mustafa arrived in Libya with her 4 sisters, mother and brother, survival was her only concern. To survive, she knew she needed to work, no matter the job. Today, she finds herself in the women-only section of a garage in western Libya, while her brother works in the men's section of the same shop. Doubts and fear plagued Mustafa early on. She worried about the possibility of damaging a client's car, and these insecurities gnawed at her. Society also weighed in, whispering that her hands were better suited for a spatula than a wrench. But Mustafa persevered, honing her skills and gaining confidence with each passing day. Once she became confident in her abilities, there was no looking back. She had one goal in mind: to secure a job and survive.
There's nothing difficult about it, but at the beginning, when it's the first time, there was the possibility of making mistakes and the possibility of damaging the woman's car. But I had enough confidence in myself to take that step and do it.
Today, Mustafa welcomes female drivers from across the city with an air of assurance. Her presence as a female mechanic not only empowers her, but also provides comfort to her female clients. They feel at ease interacting with her in a way they might not with a male mechanic. With the number of female drivers in the city on the rise, many are grateful to have someone they can approach without feeling intimidated.
More and more women are driving in Libya. They feel comfortable and reassured when they come here, where they deal with women.
But no woman, no matter how capable or confident, walks this path alone. Mustafa's resilience and success are strengthened by the support she receives from her younger brother and the shop owner where she works. Her brother stands by her side, always ready to lend a hand.
I encouraged her every time I came to see her. I told her that if she needed anything in this area, I would be there for her. I could see what she could do. There were times when she needed help. For example, she'd ask, "How do you do this? How do you do that? And what do you think of that?" So I'd tell her that it was a good idea, as she would be living new experiences, and that I would support her in any way she needs.
While the shop owner firmly believes that the field of mechanics should no longer be the sole domain of men.
Here we change oil and wash cars, and it's a service offered by women. We hope to extend the service to bodywork, brake pads, and air conditioning. This should not be seen as a job for men only. Women may want to work in this area and may want to organize their own business. Nowadays, no field is only for men anymore.
Asawar Mustafa is not just fixing cars, she's fixing society's narrow perceptions of what women can achieve. In a world that often tries to confine women to certain roles, Mustafa's journey is a powerful reminder that no job is out of reach and no dream is too big. Her courage is inspiring a new generation of women to step into roles they once thought impossible, proving that when women are given the tools to succeed, they can truly change the world. At the 2024 Paris Olympics, Kenya reinforced itself as Africa's sports powerhouse. The country clinched 11 medals and topped the African tally, just like the last 2 Olympics. And Kenya now eyes success at the upcoming Paralympics. 14 Kenyan athletes will take part in the Games, which start from August 28th. Among these athletes is the veteran powerlifter Helen Wawira Kariuki. Wawira is all set for her second appearance at the Paralympic Games, representing her nation in the 41 kg category. The 32-year-old has claimed medals at almost all major international events, be it the World Cup, the World Powerlifting Championships, the Commonwealth Games, or the African Games. The only medal missing from her collection is the Paralympics. Her quest continues in the French capital as she hopes to achieve more laurels for her nation.
I am competing on September 4th and I am hoping to win any medal, so I can say I'm hoping for the best because anything can happen and you never know, so I'm hoping for the best.
Wawira suffers from an impairment called spina bifida. It's a birth defect that occurs when the spine and spinal cord don't form properly. Due to the defect, she has been confined to a wheelchair, but she has proven that an impairment is not inability, as she has not let the condition stop her from achieving success.
I was born with a condition known as spinal bifida. I started powerlifting in 2015 after a powerlifter introduced me to it, and my journey so far has been good. I have benefited from powerlifting because I have been able to compete in a number of competitions.
Wawira's journey in sports did not begin with weightlifting. Since her high school days, she competed in wheelchair racing. It was only in 2015 that she forayed into powerlifting. She was pushed into the sport by a fellow powerlifter, and since then, she has not looked back. She not only embraced the sport, but also excelled in it. In her first World Cup itself, she bagged a bronze medal. She then went on to compete in 5 more powerlifting World Cups, 3 World Powerlifting Championships, 2 Commonwealth Games and 1 African Games. She has won 7 medals, including 3 gold, in her international career so far. But achieving this success was not easy. Wawira started her training at a makeshift gym as she didn't have access to modern facilities. She used to walk on crutches for a kilometer to reach the gym and also faced financial troubles. But all these efforts have paid off and she has now become a symbol of courage. Wawira says powerlifting has lifted her from depending on others.
So far as a woman powerlifter, the sport has helped me to have courage, which I did not have before.
Having made her country proud, her facilities have now improved. She has pushed back on the notion that European athletes have financial advantage. However, her coach doesn't share the view. He says athletes like Wawira still depend on side hustles.
The advantage that the other competitors have over us is that for them, they can depend on the sport, they train and compete. As for Helen and I, we have to have side hustles, so we are able to sustain our living.
Sometimes we are going to hustle.
Despite the obstacles, she's all set for another victory. With just days left for the Games to start, she has now ramped up her training. In the 2020 Tokyo Paralympics, she finished 5th overall with a lift of 93 kgs. For Paris, she's targeting to bench press 100 kgs. Her personal best was 98 kgs, which won her a gold in the 2022 World Cup. Wawira hopes to break her record and end the wait of standing on the Paralympic podium. Her goals, however, do not end there. Wawira has dreams for the future too. She aspires to create a foundation after retirement that would nurture talents who live with impairments.
I do not know if it can be a role model to others, but I believe maybe there's someone out there who looks up to me and aspires to do what I do.
As Wawira prepares to lift her dreams at the Paralympics, she's already a winner, donning the medal of courage and positivity.
And that's all we have time for on the show today. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost. Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment. So thank you for making Firstpost 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree for humanity, one tree for Mother Earth, one tree for a future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.
Obviously today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies. What can you expect from this?
Hello, I'm Alyson coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show.
We start with a report on India's shifting nuclear posture. For the first time since India officially became a nuclear power.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost America. I'm Aaron Ham, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C.